But you mentioned, you sort of touched on the scenario planning piece and getting you guys sort of focused on your next step around looking to purchase an investment property. Can you tell us a bit more about how I suppose the stuff that you went through with Marcus in the team, how that helped you to, I suppose, end up where you are now?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, owning an investment property was never really on our agenda. We didn't really think about it in that way, and I guess we'd never really considered it too hard. But it just seemed like an additional burden, I guess, rather than us trying to live for our best selves and sort ourselves out, if that makes sense. But when we went through the scenario planning, and it was really good at the way that Marcus went through it, and because we were all going to get to a stage where we need to retire. So he was kind of pulling out, what's the lifestyle that you want when you get to a certain age, and how do you see your life changing over these different life periods and over the 20-year span, and what sort of number would we need to have in order to get what sort of value in assets we would need to have to be generating some sort of passive income, which was one of our requests, and just really highlighting that number, and then how do we get there, and what are the steps that we can take, and then looking at the different ways that we could do that. And so we went through just, kind of what are we doing now, and even if we take away the poor credit card, living on the credit card and trying to use your offset account, from an ideal scenario of how much would we be spending in certain things. So that was kind of the baseline of how we're living. And then moving forward was we looked at a few other different options around if we were just to go to the share market, and if we were to just go to an investment property, and if we were to go half and half, and I think there was about 6 or 7 different options when we went through them, and just really highlighting what the different impacts that they could have if we brought them on at different times, and allowed us to really focus on, well, if we want to get to this number, which is the ideal goal out of everything, and it doesn't matter how you get there, then we can do these certain things to get there quicker or faster, or at least give ourselves a bit of a buffer on the other side of that number. So, we've got comfort that if anything does go wrong and the share market crashes or housing market crashes or whatever, then, we're building some sort of buffers and some safety into those numbers as well. So, yeah, we went through the process. We really, really enjoyed going through it. And for us, we actually decided to, split what we were doing and go half into an investment and half into the share market, which, again, you guys helped us set up accounts and went through all the rigmarole of I wouldn't know where to start, and the different investment splits and strategies that are involved there. I think we spoke about this before, Ben, when we were saying it's like drinking from a fire hose. Some of the stuff that you get from some of the stuff you can get off the internet, there's 1,000 good ideas out there, but if you don't know which one's the right one for you, then you kind of scuppered. So that process, we found that really good, and that was one of the highlights, really. And then I guess the banking framework that underpins that, we're still kind of getting to grips with it, and what lives in what account and different bits. But just to see the investment and the money flowing from one account to another because of the cadence of the transactions, it actually feels like you're making a lot of progress very quickly. And I think that's a really good way of doing it, rather than just a slow and steady increases, although it's smaller amounts, but over a shorter amount of time, it actually feels like you're moving forward.
And I think that when, especially at the start, when you're making some changes and you're doing some stuff, that you want to get. One of the things that we do, with those weekly banking transfers, there's a couple of reasons that we do that. One is about the fact that a week isn't, if you spend all your money on the first couple of days of the week, that you don't have that long to wait to get topped up again. But the second is that you get that motivation, because you can see, the money's hitting the savings account, it's hitting the investment account, or whatever. And I think for you guys, you're in that position, like a lot of people that we talk to, where you had some stuff, like you had a bunch of stuff going on, and you had some investments already, but you're and not that they were not good investments, but it's the guys that have the slickest marketing that tend to get the flow and good user experience, and now good companies as well. But sometimes when you don't have the confidence, because you've just got, like you say, you get the ideas off the internet and you start implementing them, that you don't have the same level of confidence to go, no, I'm actually all in on this thing, and I'm going to make it actually